Hello everyone and welcome back to another of our F124 hot lap and setup guides. This time round we are here at the birthplace of Formula 1, the home country of most of the teams on the grid, and a track that has been on the calendar right from the very beginning. Yes, we're here today at Silverstone. It might have changed throughout the years, but this place is still very high speed, high commitment, and a whole lot of fun when you get a lap hooked up. Of course, as always, these setups are more designed towards helping you in races than they are in qualifying or time trial trim. So obviously, make sure, if you are new around here as well, that you please make sure you give this channel a sub. We are so close to 10,000 subscribers on the channel now as well, and I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you for the continued support throughout this series. As always, timestamps will be linked down in the description below if you just want to head to either the setup guide or the hot lap, or obviously the track guide as well. But yeah, we're back today here at Silverstone. I had to take the Williams, so let's head out then onto the circuit and talk you guys through a lap. Well, here we go then. A lap at Silverstone really does begin with the final corner as you try and open up the car, get it over to the left-hand side. Of course, we've got an all-new updated Silverstone in F124. It looks beautiful once again. But yeah, you're going to be all the way up into 7th gear, hugging the left-hand side of the circuit, ready for turn 1. This track now inside F124 is actually incredibly bumpy. You can go up into 8th gear on your way down in towards this first corner, but 7th gear actually means you can carry slightly more speed through the entry. Flick the car in 7th. And then obviously trying to attack the curbs both on the apex through turn 1. And then of course, yeah, turn 1 and turn 2 completely flat out on this year's game. So much downforce underneath you that you've got the confidence to not only take it completely flat, but also hug the left-hand side on the exit of turn 2 there. As you make your way down into turn 3, in race trim you want to be braking just at the start of the curb. In qualifying you can try and brake ever so slightly later and really try and bring the car all the way down. I like to use 3rd gear. You can actually go for quite an aggressive apex. The circuit opens up slightly through the loop, so you want to bring it all the way back over to the outside and then try and keep dragging the car right, ready for turn 4. They're down into 2nd just to try and get the front end tipped in, and then I like to short shift back into 3rd gear as you meet the apex curb there. Roll on the throttle as you make your way out of the loop. Be careful though, you don't dip a wheel into the grass there. Turn 5 obviously really is a nothing corner before you open up the DRS to make your way down at the Wellington straight there. I actually like to bring the car towards the centre of the road just because there's a few bumps actually under the bridge as well. But as you make your way down in towards Brooklyn, so once again you're going to be up in 8th gear, spotting the 50-meter board on the outside. I like to go all the way down into 4th through the first part, but you've got to be very, very careful through here. You can try and take a bit of a later apex and carry more speed, but you can actually get a lot of oversteer through this corner as well, so got to be really, really careful with it. I like to try and hug the curb a little bit more on the way in as you make your way through Luffield. I like to use 3rd gear. Some people prefer to use 4th just to give yourself slightly better drive off the corner, but I like to use 3rd gear, hug the apex through, and just as you reach that final orange sausage curb, you want to roll on the throttle, short shift back up into 4th on the exit, and now you make your way down towards the old start-finish straight there, all the way back up into 8th gear, as you get back over to the left-hand side of the circuit. Of course, you're making your way towards the old turn 1. Infamous, of course, with Hamilton and Verstappen with their collision a couple of years ago. I like to go down into 7th, flick the car in at the 50-meter board. They're completely flat out. Again, there is so much downforce on this year's game. It's actually made Silverstone slightly less dramatic than it has been in previous games. They're back up into 8th as you head in towards Maggots and Beckett's. The first 2 corners now, again, are completely flat. Use the curb both on the left and the right-hander there as you try and tip your way in. Get the car back over on the right-hand side before you go down 1 gear. Flick it through the left again. Again, I like to try and take a bit of a later apex. Down another gear, slight dab of brake just to try and get the nose tipped through, but allow the car to run wide on the exit as you make your way out onto the hangar straight there. Try and get the car down the centre of the road, of course. The circuit does arc round slightly to the right, so I like to try and basically keep it straight, and you're aiming for the last of the brake markers on the outside of the circuit as you make your way down in towards the final few corners of the lap. Again, at the end of the hangar straight, just down 2 gears as you reach the curb, flick the car in, high speed, high commitment, avoid the sausage curbs on the inside of the corner as well, that will allow the car to run wide nicely to the exit curb. You can pretty much go all the way over it on the exit of the corner, and then the final 3 corners of the lap. Really, really difficult to navigate. Braking just at the 100-meter board down in towards this final section of the circuit. Second gear on the way in, try to get as close to that curbing on the inside as you can. Short shift up into third gear on the exit. Again, try to be really, really careful as you try and ride the car on the throttle. The circuit falls away from you. It is really, really easy to get some oversteer through that final corner. Avoid taking too much curb out of the final turn, up towards the line. And that is going to be a lap then of the British Grand Prix circuit. Honestly, in F1 24, they've made it kind of quite easy, just with the way the handling model works on this year's game, where you've got so much front-end grip. It is quite an easy circuit to actually get hooked up over a lap as well. And yeah, there isn't actually too much to it anymore, where so many corners are flat out as well. But yeah, let's head back to the garage, and I'll talk you guys through the setup. Well, taking a look then, there must be some chicanery going on with the leaderboards, because the top esports times are way down the order here. You got a lot of times from names that I don't sort of really recognise. The first one I did was Otis Lawrence on a 24/7, so we're about 1.6, 1.7 seconds off of the top times in the world. But again, a bit like I mentioned in Austria, this track, I think, you know, there's a huge, huge difference between kind of the time trial setups and the race setups that people are going to be using inside this game. There you can see Thomas Ronha on a 124.8. Obviously, you've got a lot of high-speed sections, but obviously also a lot of slower speed stuff as well. And, you know, again, tyre temperatures, that's another big thing here. You're absolutely going to cook the front left if you're not careful. So as we dive into the setup then, one of the most aggressive aero presets I've ever done inside this series. 3120, it gives you enough front end point, you know, through the old Turn 1, through Maggots and Beckett's, through obviously the current Turn 1 of Abbey as well there. But 20 on the rear wing just obviously means you've got enough top end speed. You guys, if you ever raced here before, you'll know it's an absolute slipstream fest, and DRS is really critical. So making sure that you've got enough speed to be competitive is absolutely essential there. And as you can see as well, 40-degree track temperature. It is hot on the circuit this year as well. 40-45 on the diff setting. Again, you know, there's only really 2 traction zones around this track, or low-speed traction zones, I should say. Obviously, the exit of Turn 4 and then the final couple of turns. So there isn't so much dependency on the differential, but those 2 traction zones are really critical for lap time. They both lead in to some quite long, high-speed sections as well there, and it's so easy to lose time through those. I would really make sure that you are comfortable and confident with the car. Minus 3.3 and minus 1.9 on the cambers, and then 0.07 and 0.06 on the toe angles. Again, these are running really, really low here, where this track is so much about obviously carrying speed and a line of least resistance. You know, it's not that you have to try and swing the car, you know, left and right through too many high-speed corners, you know, that are like long and continual. You know, it is kind of very much on this year's game, kind of quick flicks in a lot of places as well there, so you can afford to run those really, really low. 2618 on the suspensions, 1311 on the ride height, the anti-roll bars even, and then 2968 on the ride heights. I would say if you're still struggling with the car bottoming out and perhaps, you know, kind of shaking between your hands, maybe up to like 3272. But ultimately, you know, you don't want to run too high because, again, where this track is so top speed dependent, you know, any kind of extra ride height that you're carrying here is going to make a big, big difference. 97.54 on the brake bias as I always run. And then last but not least, 26 on the front PSIs there with 21.5 on the rear. That's just to make sure that you can get yourself through a race distance around at this venue as well. You know, like I said, the front left tyre is going to get absolutely cooked. You know, if you're not finding that you're getting close to the limit, you can lower it down to about 25, but I wouldn't go any lower than that. I tried 25.5 first, and then bring it all the way down to 25 if you're still not getting right towards those limits. But yeah, Silverstone though, obviously if you're doing a 50% race here, it is going to be 26 laps. You can really make kind of the one-stop medium to hard strategy work. You know, this pit lane is really long. 2 stops are not viable here. So I would say, yeah, go medium hard. You don't want to have to force yourself into an early pit stop and maybe lose out on the DRS strain of other cars around you as well there. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. Like I mentioned in the intro, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed if you're new around here. We're trying to hit 10k subs on the channel at the moment. And yeah, we'll be back very soon then, ready for Formula 1 to head to the Hungaroring. But for now, I'm going to leave you guys with a hot lap.